Welcome back, fellow nerds! My name is Amanda McKnight and I will be your host for the Top 10 Scariest Superheroes Part 3. Remember, if you enjoy this list and want to see more, don't forget to click that subscribe. In this list we examine the heroes who will most likely save us, but also might leave us slightly traumatized as a result. Which begs the question, what scares us about them? For me, the heroes I find the scariest are the ones with the most epic powers. After all, as Uncle Ben would say, with great power comes great responsibility. What superhero do you find scary, and what scares you about them? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, Nerd Squad, we have already done part 1 and part 2, so get ready for more Top 10 Scariest Superheroes Part 3, here we go. Number 10. Beast, member of the X-Men. Hank McCoy, aka Beast, shows signs of being a mutant from a young age. Beast has always been plagued with a sort of Jekyll-Hyde problem, feeling as though something dark resides below the surface of his intellect, waiting to escape. As scary as Hank looks though, whether it be a strong, brutish-looking man or the razor, sharp tooth, and claws Blue Beast we know today, he is often the last one to jump into the fray. Known for his extreme intelligence, Hank is often presented as a practicing pacifist, meaning that he does not believe in fighting and prefers to keep the peace. A gentle giant. This belief came out of him once he gave into his instincts when he was drugged in X-Men Hidden Years and as a result almost killed Kraven the Hunter. However, if you want to see a darker version of Hank, check out the whole Dark Reign storyline starring Dark Beast, an alternate from Earth 295 who is a cruel scientist and geneticist working for Norman Osborn. This version of Beast proves how devastating a villain our Hank could be. Number 9. Superior Spider-Man, or more specifically Otto Octavius as the Superior Spider. What could be more scary than a supervillain in a superhero's body? Especially when that supervillain is trying to do good. We meet Superior Spider when Doc Ock's body is failing and he is dying. After battling Spider-Man, he is on the brink of death when Parker takes him to the hospital. However, using mind swap technology, Doc Ock is able to trade places with Parker and now occupies Spider-Man's body. During the Superior Spider-Man storyline, we see Doc Ock as Spidey do a lot of good, but in his own devastating way. Doc Ock adds arms to his spider suit and heads out to change the world after changing his mind about his original villainous intentions. Doc Ock is almost obsessed with being a better Spider-Man than Peter Parker, which makes him more ruthless and makes him more reckless. During his time as Superior Spider-Man, Doc Ock manages to murder Massacre and blind Vulture, all while saving a whole lot of people. Definitely a hero I would not want to tangle with. Number 8. The Punisher, aka Frank Castle. Frank and his family are murdered for witnessing a mob killing, but even though he should have died, Castle somehow manages to survive the shooting. He is an anti-hero and former soldier motivated by avenging the death of his family. He is not afraid to kill and often goes into any fray heavily armed and ready to take lives. To him, delivering death is also delivering justice. Not a superhero you would want to be on the wrong side of. In the 1994 crossover comic Deadly Nights, Punisher even terrifies the Joker and would have killed him if not for Batman's intervention. In alternate universes of the comic, he has successfully killed the Marvel Universe twice without hesitation, once as a result of being the lone survivor of a zombie-like virus, and the second time because his family were the casualties of a fight involving superheroes. And then Cyclops tried to apologize really badly for their death. And you don't mess with Frank Castle's family. Number 7. Black Bolt. Born into the House of Aegon, Black Bolt is inhuman royalty. His parents, being lead geneticists, exposed him to mutating mist while he was still in his mother's womb. He was born with a quasi-sonic voice. In other words, simply by speaking, he could level a city. Imagine accidentally sneezing achoo and blowing up your house. Scary. In fact, up until he was 19, he was kept in a soundproof room in order to protect his people while he gained more control over these abilities. When he was finally permitted to roam free, he discovered that his brother was planning to make an alliance with the Kree and betray their people. He shouted out to stop a Kree ship from leaving, and as a result, the ship came crashing down on the Inhumans Parliament building, killing his parents and making Black Bolt their new leader. Throughout the comics, we have seen devastating use of Black Bolt's powers. In War of Kings, he even managed to use his quasi-sonic ability abilities to rip a hole through space-time, among other things. Number 6. The Thing, aka Ben Grimm. Weighing in at 500 pounds, one of the scariest superheroes in town, it's clobbering time. Ben Grimm gained his powers after being persuaded to pilot for Reed Richards' test flight into space. Not knowing what to expect from the cosmic rays they would inevitably encounter in space, the test team were surprised to find they were mutated by the rays, resulting in each team member gaining superpowers. These 4 became the Fantastic Four. Ben Grimm himself grew huge and his skin changed to rocks, causing him to take up the name The Thing. One of the scariest things about The Thing is not actually his strength or powers, but his mental instability. The Thing often discusses how unhappy he is, how he wishes he could die, and his self-given name, The Thing, reflects how he feels about his monstrous appearance, that he is just a thing. These feelings often lead to reckless and violent behavior. He is quick to anger, and his reactions are often severe unless his teammates can talk him down. Number 5. Deadpool, aka Wade Wilson. Wade's past is elusive in the comic book world and seems to change slightly every time Deadpool retells it. However, it has been confirmed that he is Canadian, and whatever happened in his childhood had obviously left him troubled and mentally unstable. As a result, he grew up to be an insane and cold-blooded assassin for hire. And trust me, you do not want to be on his hit list. Wade found out he had cancer and was terminally ill, and was resigned to dying until Weapon X came along and cured him by granting him regenerative healing powers. Deadpool later ended up being tortured at the hospice, and it was the Deadpool that the members of the staff at the hospice ran that inspired his anti-hero name. Wade Wilson is often perceived as being pretty unstoppable due to his determined, albeit mentally unstable mind, and regenerative abilities. He can be ripped in half and still keep going, as demonstrated in the Deadpool 2 movie. Deadpool has also defeated the Hulk even, outsmarting him in the 1997 comic Deadpool Volume 1 Issue 4. Granted, Deadpool doesn't kill Hulk, but he does defeat him, and like Punisher, he is also known for killing the Marvel Universe. Twice. Number 4. Phoenix. Before there was Dark Phoenix, there was just Phoenix. Phoenix is an old entity that Jean Grey connects with in order to protect the X-Men. Phoenix connects with Jean Grey's consciousness and bonds with her, adopting her form and memories. The Phoenix Force carries with it an untold amount of power, and it is this version of Jean that is one of the most powerful, save for Dark Phoenix. Granted, what is so scary about this version of Jean is just that, the threat that at any moment Jean's consciousness could lose control over this insane amount of power and become Dark Phoenix, which wasn't so scary until we met Dark Phoenix in the comics and, understandably, got a little scared. We are talking about a level of power that grants Jean Grey omnipotence and makes her immortal. I mean, how many times has she died now? 10? Is it more than 10? I've lost count. Number 3. Luther Strode. The Strange Talent of Luther Strode is a 6-issue series published by Image Comics. In the series, we meet a young boy, Luther, who discovers dormant powers through the use of an exercise manual called the Hercules Method. The manual turns out to be a magical text of sorts that awakens Luther's abilities. We discover in the series that an ominous figure called the Librarian made sure this manual found its way to Luther in an attempt to determine if Luther possessed these abilities, so that the Librarian could later help Luther to hone them. The Librarian wants to lead Luther down a path of death and destruction, while Luther has nobler intentions. In a sense, the abilities make him frighteningly strong, so much so that he can break someone's jaw with just a punch, and so durable that he can somehow fight while disemboweled. Not only is this superhero terrifying, but this comic series is also just terrifyingly fantastic. Number 2. Sentry. Marvel's fatally flawed version of Superman. Sentry is a superhero that hit the pages of comics in the early 2000s, but with a backstory that predates most of the superheroes we know today. A hero that was for some reason long forgotten. Robert Reynolds, aka Sentry, returns to the world after he fears that the Void, his arch nemesis, has also returned. Sentry is super strong, fast, near invincible, can produce powerful energy blasts, can fly, has psionic abilities, and has sometimes been known to manipulate molecules and raise the dead. Yeah. He is also the best of the best. So okay, he's super strong, but he's also super good, so why should we be scared? Because as is revealed throughout the comics, his good side comes as a package deal, accompanied by a much darker side. Robert Reynolds is not just a Sentry, but also the Void. And the world, including Robert himself, was made to forget him in an attempt to protect the world from the other half of his personality. His split personality disorder has also caused him to be one of the strongest supervillains, the Void. And Robert is a scary level level of mentally unstable, to the point that in the 2006 SENTRY series, he tells his therapist the Void is locked up in the Watchtower, yet the vault SENTRY claims contains the villain only contains a chair and a mirror. It is later revealed that this is a psychological trick that Reynolds plays on himself to keep the darker side of himself, aka the Void, contained. Number 1. Scarlet Witch, also known as Wanda Maximoff. Scarlet Witch is the famed daughter of Magneto and twin sister to Quicksilver. If you're familiar with Marvel Comics, there is a very good chance you are familiar with Scarlet Witch. Her childhood was fraught with trauma, making Scarlet Witch an unstable mutant, which is terrifying because she is just so powerful. Scarlet Witch has reality-altering powers, but not just any 2-bit kind of reality-altering powers. We're talking about the type of powers that could change all of reality as we know it. In House of M, Scarlet Witch changed the entire universe by giving mutants all the power. Later, she agreed to undo what she had done, but also change things again when she removed mutants from all existence. I also obviously could not have a list with the Phoenix Force on it without mentioning Scarlet Witch, as during the X-Men vs Avengers storyline, we get to see Scarlet Witch and Hope Summers team up with the Avengers to take down the Phoenix Force. After wrenching it free of Scott Summers, together, Hope and Wanda wipe the Phoenix Force out of existence. Impressive. And that was our top 10 scariest superheroes part 3. I hope you enjoyed this video. Before you go, I want to know, which superpowers scare you the most? If you woke up one morning with powers, which superpower would you be afraid to find out you suddenly had? Let me know in the comments below. And click that thumbs up and tap that subscribe if you haven't already. This is Top 10 Nerd, I'm Amanda McKnight saying thanks for watching and reminding you, as always, to stay nerdy.